So today I'm going to teach you how to make this Afghan. It has on each end a little edge, and then in the middle is this cute pattern, and it makes a really cute throw. It also makes a great baby blanket. It's super soft, and it's really quick to make. So if you're a beginner, this is a really good project to make. And if you're advanced and you need to just whip something out, it is very easy to do. The ends, I'm going to be doing another tutorial. Be sure to click subscribe because I'll be doing a tutorial on how to put an edge on this. I'm going to do a 1 week layette project using this pattern, and it's a really quick layette with a little hat and a cute little receiving blanket. So be sure to click subscribe. If you like this pattern, give me a like, and we'll get started on the project. So for this project, we are going to use Yarn Bee Soft Secret. I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it doesn't have a recommended hook size, but I'm going to be using a 5mm hook. And depending on what size blankets you want to make, I wrote down the dimensions here. Receiving blanket is 28 inches by 34 inches, so you'll chain 120. Afghan is 30 by 40 inches, you'll chain 130. Baby blanket 34 by 46, you'll chain 155, and then crib size is 36 by 54, and you'll chain 165 approximately. Now this is based on my yarn and my hook and my tension, so yours might be different. What you can do is when you're making your chain, just get a yardstick and measure your chain loosely, along the yardstick, and you'll be able to come up with how many chains you need for your blanket exactly. It doesn't matter too much, depending on where you end. Your turning is going to be, it may be different on one row or another, but you can just watch the next row's turn and figure it out that way. Otherwise, it should be a really easy, cute looking baby Afghan. So to get started, I'm going to make a loop. So I put my fingers in, twist around like this, and then I grab my yarn and pull through. And I put my hook in, and I pull it slightly snug, especially just on this end, but we want a little bit of give for our chaining. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on until you get to your chain size that you have decided you're going to make based on the size of your blanket. So I am going to be making a crib size, and so I'm going to chain 165, and I will meet you at the end of this row. So I've come to the end of my chain, and the first thing I'm going to do is chain 2, and I'm going to go into the third loop from my hook. So this is 1, 2, I'm going to go back into this third. I'm going to yarn over and go into this loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and pull through 2. So that is a double crochet, and we're going to do a double crochet all the way back in every loop. So this is my next loop. I'm going to yarn over, go into my next loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Again, I'm going to yarn over, go into my next loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Again, yarn over, go through the next loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. So I'm going to be doing this all the way back. So I will meet you at the end and we will finish up our row. This will be technically our second row if we count our chain, and just continue on. If you're confused about which loop to go in, you can see the double crochet here is connected into this loop, so we're going to go into the next loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and pull through 2 loops. So continue on. I will meet you back at the end of our row. Okay, so I've come to the end of my row. You can see I have 3 last little loops here. So I'm going to finish my double crocheting in them. There's 1, there's 2, and that last one might be kind of tricky. It gets pulled tight when you do your first slip knot, but you should be able to get your hook in there. And we are done with our second row. So now you're going to chain 2 and turn your work. So you can see we have, if you turn your work upright, you can see that we have a series of V's here in your work if you turn it upright. And we've done a chain 2, so we're going to count that as one of our double crochets, and we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into the V right here. So yarn over, go into it, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Then we're going to skip the next 2 and then yarn over, go into the third V, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then in that same spot we're going to go in again. So yarn over, go into the same, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, yarn over and go into the third stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and again we're going to go into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So essentially what we're doing is skipping 2 stitches and putting 2 double crochets in the third stitch, and then skipping the next 2 stitches, then doing a double crochet into the third stitch twice. So you go into the same area again. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. It's going to make perfect sense to you, the people who have done this a lot, and it's going to make no sense to those who are just beginners, but hopefully you can watch and see the stitches here. There's 1, 2, 3, so we're going to skip 1, 2, and then yarn over and go right in under the third and do a double crochet, and then yarn over and go into that third one again and do a double crochet. Skip the next 2, yarn over and go into the third, do 2 double crochets, and then skip the next 2, yarn over and go into the third and do 2 double crochets. And this is how you are going to continue your entire row. This is the basic stitch pattern of the Afghan, and the only thing that's going to change is when we get to our ends, beginning and ending, it will be a little different, but this pattern will be repeated all throughout the Afghan. This first row of double crochets in every stitch was our border, and now we're getting on with our our actual work. So skip 2, double crochet in your third, and again double crochet in that third, and then skip 2, double crochet in the third. So I'll meet you back when we're done with this row, and we will pick up, we'll complete the row, and then we will start our 4th row. So this is the 3rd row. We've got our chain, our row of single double crochets, and then 2 double crochets in every 3rd loop. Okay, so I finished the end of row 3. I'm at the end and I have 2 loops left. I have this one here and this one here. I don't know if you can see. So here is the formula, because we all are making different size blankets. We all did different size, different number of chains in our work. So here is your guide for finishing off your rows. If you have 2 loops left, you're going to just skip this loop here, assuming your work is over here. You're going to skip a loop and you're going to do 1 double crochet in your last loop. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have 3 loops left, you're going to do 2 double crochet. You're basically going to skip your 2 loops like normal in your pattern, because you have 2 here. You have 2 double crochets here. You're going to skip 2, and then you're just going to do 2 double crochet in your last loop. If you have 4 loops left, you're going to skip 2, because you had 2 here. You're going to do 2 double crochet in the 3rd loop, just as your pattern would continue on. And then on your last loop, you're just going to do 1 double crochet. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a little confusing, but if you just count how many loops you have left, and we're working from right to left, so your work is going this way, we're looking at your work this way, and we're counting our loops here. So this would be 1 loop and this would be 1 loop. So I am just going to do a double crochet in my last loop because I had 2 loops left, and I do 1 double crochet. Okay, so figure out your ending for your row and finish it up, and then you're going to chain 2 on top of however you ended, and you're going to turn your work. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So we finished up our 3rd row, and we have our chain 2 here, and we're now going to be working in these series of holes that we've created with our last row. So our hook will go right in. So for our first one, since we already have this double crochet, or this chain 2 right here, we're just going to yarn over and we're going to do 1 double crochet in the open space, and that will give us 2 for that area. Then we're going to skip the next stitches, and we're going to do 2 double crochet in the next hole there that was created by our previous row. Then we're going to yarn over and do 2 more double crochets in the next hole. And this is where it really starts to take off and go really quickly, because we're just working in those holes. There's no counting, there's no, it just goes really quickly. You just look, you find the hole, and do 2 double crochets and move on to the next one. So we will meet back when you're done with this row. This is row 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will meet you back at the end of the row. Okay, so we're coming into the end of our row. I have my 2 double crochets in here, and I'm going to put 2 in here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at this turning chain here, and we're going to find the top of it, and we're going to do a double crochet in it, but just one, because it is basically the edge of our blanket. Actually, I didn't grab both loops there. You want to grab both loops in this end, our last double crochet. So find your last little stitch there and do a double crochet. Oop, I missed it again. And then, so to start our next row, we're going to chain 3, or chain 2, I'm sorry. Turn your work, and then we're going to skip this V here, and we're going to start doing our 2 double crochets in the next opening. And you're going to continue your row as such, just like you did the previous row, just doing 2 double crochets in each opening. And we're quickly building up our little baby blanket. Okay, so I've come to the end of the row. I have one more little section here to do 2 double crochets, and this is how you're going to finish off your rows from here on out. So 2 double crochets in the hole, and then you're going to find that last little chain and do a 1 double crochet in the last chain. Oops, do that completely again. And then chain 2. Turn your work, and since we have this little gap here, we're going to go ahead and do another double crochet in there, and then we're going to go into the next section and do 2 double crochets, the next section 2 double crochets, and finish up our row. So you should be able to get to the end of your Afghan this way, except for your last row, following these instructions. So go ahead and just work it out, and I will see you when you've got your length, except for your last little row of double crochets, and I'll show you how to finish that and put your border on when you finish up with your length. Okay, I will meet you back at the end of your Afghan length. So in this Afghan, you're going to have, I just want to review your turns with you, because depending on your count, you're either going to have this kind of turn, or the other kind, which I'll show you on the other side, or 1 of each, or 2 of each. So it's super easy. You just keep doing the double crochets all the way across. And then the only thinking is really when you get to your end. So I'm just going to review. So here I have just my turning chain before I went into my row over here when I started. So with 1 turning chain, and then you have all this down here, you're going to do 2 double crochets in that hole. And then in your turning chain, you're just going to poke your needle right in and do 1 more double crochet, and that finishes off that row. Then you chain 2, turn your work, and then you just go directly into this next hole. So 2 double crochets with that, and that is the one type of turn. So that's if you end up with just a single turning chain, and then I will show you the other one when I get to the end of this row. Okay, so for your other turning side, I wanted to illustrate, you're going along with your rows and you get to your end and you see that you have a space and then you have 2 chains here instead of just 1 turning chain. So you're going to go into this hole as normal. And you're going to do your double crochet, 2 double crochets, and then you're going to go into those 2 little stitches in the top, just like the other row, but there's 2 instead of 1, and do a double crochet, and then you're done with that row. So you fill in the hole, do another double crochet in the turning chain. Then you chain 2, turn your work, and then you have this little gap here, so you're going to do 1 double crochet in it, and then you're going to move on to your next row and do your 2 double crochets in the empty spaces. So hopefully that clarifies your turning, and you should be good to go all along your rows. You're either going to have this or the previous one that I explained, and your blanket should come right along. Okay, so I've come to the end of my little Afghan. I made it a throw size because I don't have any babies anymore and I don't have any showers coming up, so I made it a nice throw size. I think I chained 165 when I began, so it's looking gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I did it at the airport when I took my daughter to college, and I'm at the end of my row. So I'm going to chain 2. And then in the second chain from, or I guess it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4th chain from the hook, I'm going to start a row of double crochets all the way across. So this is back to the basics. Go in each little V and do a double crochet all the way across so that we are matching up with our border where we started on the opposite end of the Afghan. So just double crochets all the way across, and I will meet you at the end and show you how to just tie it off. Ta-da! Alright, so I've come to the end of my row. I'm in this single turning chain, and you either have a double or a single turning chain. So we're going to go into our last little loop here, and then look how much yarn I had left. Is that not like perfect? And then you're going to just yarn over and pull through one more time and pull tight. And that is the end of the Afghan. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like and definitely hit subscribe. I've got some great stuff coming out. I'm going to be doing a baby layette that should take only a week to 2 weeks to do, with a little hat and matching blanket. So click subscribe for that if you want to learn that. And then also I have some other stuff that's going to be coming out too. My daughter and I are going to be building some things, so it'll be exciting. So enjoy the project, and I will catch you on the next project.